Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm gonna be giving you part 20 of What If Naruto Was Neglected and Lost Everything. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Neglected with Josh and Seal inside. If man enjoyed that guys, over on Anime King 3. And also, I posted a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Told About the Uzumaki clan in the beginning, so go ahead and enjoy that over on Anime King. And enjoy it as well guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, yes, you heard that correctly, I indeed have 3 channels: Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. So yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, Naruto got captured in a crystal spear as San and Crystal attack him, but Naruto sidestepped and moved out of the way, dodging each of them, as Gaara told Goren to drop the crystal. As he made his way inside, he just wanted to talk, as he was asking Naruto to join the Akatsuki, which Naruto told him hell no. As he asked Naruto if he was going to stand in the way if he tried to recruit the other 9 killed Jinchuriki, as Naruto told him of course. As Gaara sighed as he brought the sand down on Naruto with an apologetic look on his face, but Naruto froze it completely as it shattered. As Goren and Gaara used that chance to escape. When Naruto's team came back, they wondered what the hell went on, but he told them it was nothing to worry about. So with that, they made their way back. Danzo came to talk to Minato, as it seems like the Akatsuki was making their move as they attacked Naruto. Minato was confused when he saw Danzo and Naruto talking on friendly terms. That was rather confusing. How was that even possible? As Minato started to get a bit fearful, as he knew that Naruto was planning for him. He didn't know when it was going to happen or how, but he was planning for him. And not to mention, how the hell are the both of them talking on friendly terms? Gaara had went back to the Akatsuki as he spoke to them, but the leader of the Akatsuki told him that it was no problem. So with that, Naruto gave his team an assignment as the 2 missions, not to mention reading a book, as they all came back and told him what they read, as they continued their missions out there. As Naruto came back home after the day done of missions, something strange was going on. As he felt strange, he saw Yumi, as Yumi was just sitting there by herself. He then saw Karen quickly came down the stairs along with Yakumo. Yakumo apologized, and so did Karen, as Karen was supposed to be watching Yumi, but she went upstairs to show Yakumo some clothing, normal teenager stuff. As Naruto told her just not do it again. As he made his way, he was tired, he was gonna get some sleep. But to his surprise, Itachi came to his house. Yes, that was rather surprising for Naruto, as he couldn't believe it. For the man to step foot in here after what he did, Naruto was furious, he was livid. He was pissed off to no end, as Itachi was so calm and speaking. Itachi also left something behind for Naruto, as he told him to tell him where the 9th tail was, the real one. But Naruto refused to tell him anything, and even if he go after his family, he will be the only one left with that secret and Hokage would not tell him anything. Itachi left though, with that present left for Naruto was a Sharingan eye in a jar, confusing Naruto, as the thing was spinning unknown to him, as he asked Karen if she sensed anything. Karen said yes, as that guy came and said that he was his friend, as Naruto knew that it wasn't that easy to trick Karen, so it must have been a genjutsu. Something was going on as he made his way towards the IT department, as he went to speak with Uncle. As Naruto's mind started to blare, images started to flash through his head as he sat there waiting on her. Images of Danzo, Sharingan, and Genjutsu. As Naruto's mind started to blare, the door then opened up as someone entered. We then had a time skip, as it was finally the day for the team to go on their first Zero mission. As everyone was packed as they're ready to go, they were helping Tazuna, the land of waves. So with that, they made their way off. Something happened in that room. Back at the village though, something dreadful. Seems like more truth was coming out. So yeah guys, it was basically as we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check out yourself so just to begin this new episode. As the group was currently making their way towards the land of wave, as Naruto saw the small little puddle, he decided to test his Jennings to see if the training has been working on them or not. As he prepared his substitution and applied a little genjutsu, within moments, Akamaru barked as two figures emerged from the puddle. There has been no rain here for weeks, as chains from the two missing names wrapped around their sensei. Naruto's senju was ripped apart in a gore, mess of blood and chunks and flesh. The startled cry of the Inuzaka died in his throat as Hinata's spin around her Byakugan activated. She saw the two figures as they had a chain attached between them by their metal gauntlet. She ducked on the chain, letting her fingers connect with one of the right side and the other one to the left side, closing off their points. Before they could regain their bearings, a roar could be heard. Kietsuga Kiba twirled through the air, its body as it was just fang and claws. Kiba slammed into the man. Hinata saw it with her Byakugan as the man's ribcage was completely shattered. He wouldn't stand up again. Miyaizu, the other one shouted. But it was too late as Hinata came in and struck him repeatedly. You son of a bitch, I never got to confess to him, said Hinata. As even after the man had died, she kept on throwing Jayugen strikes. Katsume was frozen in fear. She had pulled a kunai but she never moved from her position. She had defined herself as the one to save Tazuna as she was in front of him. But if any of the two had moved towards her, she would have not done anything as she felt it in her core. She had sparred with each of them, Naruto, Kiba, and Hinata, and yet she could not. She had never been able to fight for her life before. Even her only kill was nothing more than an execution. So she stood there as she saw Hinata brutally dispose of the corpse. Kiba scowling and sad in face. Well, you did an excellent job. Hinata froze as she heard that voice. Did he hear her? Well, in the meantime, she could play it off as something else. But she could switch into pissed off and angry mode, yes. Sensei, what is the meaning of this, she said. Yeah bro, that wasn't fun at all, said Kiba. I mean, that was some sick crap you made us go through. I thought you were dead. As Kiba looked over towards where the pile of wood was, as Naruto raised both of his hands, trying to calm in motion. Now, calm down, said Naruto. Let me explain. But before that, Tazuna-san, said Naruto, his face devoid of any laughter. We need to talk. Well, you know, they could have been after the girl, said Tazuna, as Naruto looked towards Kasumi. Well, that would have been possible if they were from the Hidden Stone. Then, I don't know, said Tazuna, with a hesitant smile. I'm not taking a no as an answer. So you have one more chance, said Naruto. Tell me, what the hell is going on? Man gulped thickly as he saw Naruto's eyes becoming more pronounced. Well, do you know who Gato is, he said, looking around in fear, like this Gato person would hear him. Yes, said Naruto, he knew who Gato was. The businessman controlled the underground, the drug rings, the prostitution houses around the land of Wave. But it never stretched out of there, because of fear. Then you know how much money and power he wields. He controls all the shipping companies around the land of Wave. And he's choking our economy. The people are dying in the street from hunger and thirst. The bridge that I'm going to build is going to save our country. He doesn't want it built. That is why I hire a group of ninjas to escort me back. The man's voice was now pleading. If you don't help me, I would probably die. And my daughter would probably hate Konoha ninjas forever. And my poor little cute grandson would probably cry. We have all the right to refuse, Sensei, said Katsumi. But I think we should go on. Well, if you do nothing but freeze, I suppose you wouldn't have a problem, said Hinata. Anyway, I think we should go on, Sensei, Hinata said. Yeah bro, we're ready. And we're not gonna fail our first C rank. At the words from Kiba, Naruto sighed. This is actually B rank. Goes on Miyaizu are chonins from Kiri, mixing names. One is dead, and one is... As Naruto walked towards Miyaizu, as he beckoned Hinata to come closer, activate your Byakugan and watch Hinata. She did, as Naruto's hand glowed a slight green, as he placed it over the man's chest. Sensei, you're fixing his rib? Asked Hinata. As a Jayugen user, I am sure that your chakra is top notch. With your Byakugan, furthermore, you can actually see the wound without performing a diagnostic jutsu that require more chakra basically. If you're going to specialize in medical ninjutsu, or more specifically, field of healing, I'm sure that you're going to be excellent at it. A light blush covered her cheeks. Kiba, get over here, said Naruto as he stopped the glowing. You have something to do as well. Yeah bro, said Kiba. Torture and interrogation, the first lesson, said Naruto, as he held a kunai at the man's throat. Always ensure you can terminate the target while asking questions. Kiba nodded as the man slowly groaned and opened his eyes. I won't talk, he said, as Naruto smiled at that. Lesson number 2, if the enemy doesn't commit suicide, meaning that he will talk, as Naruto punched the man in the face, breaking the man's nose. Lesson number 3, dose your strength. Do not kill or tickle, but maim, as blood was leaking from the man's nose. I feel nothing, Gozu said. Lesson number 4, said Naruto, if you take more than physical intimidation, then terminate the target and try with another one, said Naruto, as he moved the kunai closer to the man's throat. Wait! As Naruto kunai stopped, pressed up against his throat, as there was a small trickle of blood that ran out. Who hired you? How many missing names are there, said Naruto. Gato. He wants the bridge builder dead, said Gozu. He hires Zabuza, the demon of the mist, and us. Please let me, as Naruto gave the kunai over to Kiba. As he nodded, as Kiba drive the kunai through the man's head. Lesson number 5, lie with your actions. If you want to get them to loosen up, said Naruto. Katsumi-chan, said Naruto. I'll teach you more on chakra control, he said. You won't be able to reach my level that quickly, but you should at least be able to do water walking. Katsumi felt a bit of jealousy. Hinata got medical ninjutsus. Kiba got interrogation tips. And she got water walking, something that others would obviously learn as well. Why couldn't she learn interrogation? But she nodded. Now, we will continue the mission. However, when Zabuza makes his appearance, you 3 will not engage, understood? This is an A-rank mission as of now, said Naruto. His words were harsh and stern. The tone, there was no second opinions. It will be his fight. Sensei, who is this Zabuza guy? Asked Kiba, perplexed. The demon of the mist. He was a carrier representative during the Chunin exams when I took them, said Naruto. He's one of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. Thus he's not a part of Anvu or Jonin. Do not engage him, really. I don't know why I'm stressing or repeating it, but do not engage. Yes, Sensei, the 3 nodded, as something was in the back of Naruto's mind, but he wasn't focused on that right now. He had a mission, first came the mission, then the rest. Given the fact that there was no bridge, they had to take a boat. When they exit the boat, they walk, as the mist started to get thick. Hinata was wondering if her sensei would call her on her actions, or whether he would not. Meanwhile, Kiba was gripping his backpack, thoughts running to their enemies. Was it that A-rank ninja that killed his father years before? As a thought popped up in his mind. I hope you die, you liar. He winks at the thought, as he lowered his head at that, as another thought popped up in his mind. C-rank, huh? Hope you die. Those 3 words stung hard, but he did not let it discourage him. He was sure that they were waiting for him back home, or his corpse, before selling his stuff and emptying his room. Maybe if he did actually die, Hana would get that storage room that she wanted. Not that she didn't already store things into his room. After all, everything belonged to the clan. Like his jutsus, Akamaru, his jacket, all the things in the backpack. The backpack was the only thing. It was a gift from the person that he yelled at to die. And the person had died. As he shook his head, he started to smell. Katsumi pulled the kunai and she threw it towards a bush. There's an enemy there, she said, as Akamaru rushed over. As Akamaru brought back a bunny with a kunai stuck into him that Katsumi threw. Oh, the ferocious killer bunny of the land of wave. How could I not sense it, Kiba said, but he had to activate her Byakugan. Sensei, the bunny fur. It's wrong, said Naruto. I know. Imagine, formation. The fog got thicker and thicker as Hinata stood to the right, and Katsumi stood to the left, and Kiba stood at the front of the man. Do not move, Tetsune-san, we will protect you, said Katsumi. And I told you there was an enemy there, she said, looking back at Kiba. But Kiba said nothing. Hinata cursed because she could not see anything. She couldn't see, and yet she could because her eyes were still there. There's the man with a massive sword in his back, but she could not see his pathways. Was it an illusion? So you're the shrimp from Chunin exam, said Zabuza, as the mist parted to show his face. And here, the demon of the mist, said Naruto. By the way, I have the Kibas with me, so Raijin are Kibas. The question that seemed so casual was giving Zabuza an underlying threat. I did hear that you got Reiga's head, but he was a bad guy to begin with, even when he was sane. But I would kindly kill you even if you were to use all 3 swords together. And I'll be taking the bridge builder's head. Aye, what did I ever do to you, said Naruto, as the Raijin blade roared to life, clearing away the fog that was incredibly close to Naruto. Becoming a visible target is appreciated, says Zabuza. As the mist increased even more, Hinata's eyes focused. There was a demon of the mist advancing towards her sensei, who no longer have chakra pathways either, meaning that he was a clone. And another Zabuza just flashed right in the center of their group. You left your team wide open, says Zabuza as he swung the massive blade. As he was stopped by Naruto Raijin blade though, sparks flew in the air as Hinata, the only one that could see properly, moved towards Tazuna and taking a position next to him. Iba with his advanced senses moved. As he made his way into formation, Katsumi in the other hand started to go through hand signs. Wing style, they tapa, she said. But the mist was filled with chakra that kept it saturated. As Naruto was clashing with a massive blade, as Zabuza appeared behind Naruto and sliced him in half. But Naruto turned into a water clone. That's when our explosive detonated right where the water clone had been, taking out Zabuza's water clone as well. As silence echoed through the clearing, the remaining water clone that Hinata saw because she could not see its chakra coils turned and looked towards her. Well, what do we have here? Kids from the academy recently graduated as well. Let me guess, did you have to only perform a clone to pass? Pathetic. With a simple chuckle, he was already at Kiba's location. Kiba raised his arms, but a massive kick smashed into them as Kiba cried out in pain as he was launched back. He slammed against a tree. Hinata's fingers moved forward, hoping that single hit would be enough to destroy the clone in front of her. But instead of destroying the clone, she saw a glass. No, not glass. A crystal surface when she hit the clone. Something was wrong. Something was definitely wrong. As she gasped, Zabuza's feet impacted in her ribs. She was launched back as she slammed against a tree over to the other side. As blood came from her mouth, wincing in agonizing pain, she reached into her pocket as she pulled out something that she knew would come in handy. It was an explosive tag. A personal gift from their sensei to all of them in the bulk, if they want the enemy get away or wanted some breathing space. As she threw it, it had a 2 seconds delay. As Zabuza jumped to the side as the thing went off, boom, he was thrown to the side. Not shivering like a baby, huh, said Zabuza. Hinata was shocked. How did he not dispel? Please, I'm not a whiny, spoiled princess, she said. She had to keep up the act. Yeah, and neither am I, said Kiba as he went on all fours. He had given Akamaru a pill as Akamaru turned red. Kiba winced though as his arms were broken, neatly so from that kick, as Akamaru transformed into a perfect replica of him. Getsuga! Zabuza twist as he brought his blade forward as Kiba crashed right in it. Zabuza used the momentum to throw Kiba back, hurting his arms even more. As Akamaru growled in his Kiba form, Zabuza simply chuckled. Well, what about the girlie over there? He says he looked towards Katsumi. As she held up her kunai, I have to protect Tazuna-san, she said. You know, since I was the one who is to blame for all of this, go, fight with your team. I'll manage to stay out of the fight, said Tazuna. Katsumi bit her lower lip. There it was, no excuse. Unknown to everyone except for her. Katsumi was a coward at heart. She might be able to deliver the killing blow. She might be able to move in sparring and fighting sessions, but in a one-on-one fight, a real fight for her life, she was a coward because her legs would not move. She could not move forward to attack this man. She was afraid. Zabuza stood there with a smirk on his face, waiting for the Senju to show himself once again. As the plan was perfect, having Gurren give him a crystal armor that would absorb most hits. Not even Byakugan could see his points with this, so the Hyuga could try as much as she liked, but she wouldn't see his points no matter what, so she couldn't tell if he was a clone or not. He moved forward to take the girl's head off to see if the Senju would show himself. As in that instant, Naruto placed himself with Katsumi as the right hand slammed right against massive cleaver blade. Give now your cover, said Zabuza with a smirk. Naruto did not say anything as his eyes glow blue, forcing Zabuza to jump back. As Naruto jumped forward as well, suddenly, as Zabuza's clone came out of the water, as it formed a water spear on Naruto, as the place got covered in fog once again. Naruto moved forward as she saw Kiba flailing around. He was just going to injure his arms even more, so she knocked him unconscious. As she turned, where was Katsumi? She couldn't see the girl anywhere. What was going on? She heard clashing. She then heard it, her sensei scream. A piercing scream in the fog. Hinata moved forward as she heard the bushes. As she turned she saw Katsumi appearing from the lake area. Her lower half was drenched down to the bone. Katsumi, Kiba is... As Katsumi was pale, she was pale as a ghost. As Katsumi was pointing, Hinata looked as she froze. She saw her sensei lying on top of the lake with an ice javelin emerging from one side of his face as he was covered in frozen blood. On the other side, a mass underneath was carrying away the wounded body of Zabuza, who also had part of his body covered in frost. "Sensei!" Katsumi shouted as the girl seemed to snap out of what trance she was under. As she moved forward, she had to do this. As she moved towards her sensei, as Hinata pulled Kiba over as well. Kazuna came over closely. Katsumi had to swim to get her sensei's body to swim him back to shore. The Raijin blade was broken, the handle was cracked, and Naruto's hand was burned. What the hell was going on? Was Zabuza really that strong to reduce her sensei like that? No, that's impossible. Katsumi was confused as she didn't know what was going on. When Naruto had substitute with her, she found herself in front of Itachi. Flashback. Zabuza was coming for her, his sword was inch away from her throat before she vanished as she found herself in the canopy. As she saw someone in front of her, the last thing she heard was Tsukuyomi. When she blinked, she was in her mindscape where the fox reside. As she froze, she saw the man standing there. The Kyuubi was there, behind the bars. It was unmoving. "I am Itachi Uchiha. I belong to the Akatsuki," Itachi said. You're the one who killed Sasuke's clan." "I did what I was ordered to do. And I came here to offer you something that you will like," said Itachi. "Like I will ever believe a murderer. Where's Naruto Sensei? What did you do to him?" "Nothing that a kid like you should know. I just brought some backup to deal with him." At that implication, Katsumi's eyes start turning feral. But Itachi's Sharingan spin as her eyes return back to normal. "My power over the Kyuubi is great. My Mangekyo Sharingan can control it. Do not force my hand, child. I wish to offer you something." "And what the hell would I ever want from you?" she asks. "We the Akatsuki can remove the Kyuubi from you with no suffering effects, no ill effects. All you have to do is think about my offer. We will be back for an answer, but I warn you, speak our meeting to anyone else and I can guarantee that Konoha will suffer." Katsumi stood there frozen, but she asks, "What is it? What do you want from Konoha?" "Revenge." That was the last Itachi said as he was gone. As Katsumi returned back to reality, not focused on that thought anymore, in the flashback, the last thing she remembered, she woke up to the scream of her sensei and she dashed towards it. She saw some other figures as well, flashed away quickly. She had to think about what Itachi said later, but for now she had to save her sensei. As she brought him back to the rest of the group, as she saw the unconscious Kiba, as Naruto Sensei was in a bad state. As she brought him fully on the shore, she took into full view his face. A ice lance or arrow or spear tip, something like that, had taken out his left eye. His sword, the Raijin, stood broken. Pieces of its handle firmly in his grasp. Was breathing raggedly. Cracks and some deep marks were in his armor, like something had crashed right against it. Powerful. Were really over their heads with this mission. They should go back. "Kazuna-san, how far is your house?" Hinata said. "Couple of hours. I can carry your sensei." "No," said Katsumi. "I will carry sensei." As she's done nothing so far, she had to do something, and a part of her was hoping that her sensei would leash off her chakra to heal himself. "Kazuna-san, then can you carry Kiba-kun?" said Hinata. With that, the group moved off. Meanwhile, with the Akatsuki team as they were on the move, "Itachi, I'm now 2-0 with your friend," said Kisame, another member of 7 Ninja Swordsman, as he showed off his sharp teeth. "Why did I have to be the one to be wounded, you damn fish?" said Zabuza, as his chest and stomach was bandaged. "Because it's a part of the plan," Kisame said. "So, he won't tell you who the Kyuubi Jinchuriki is, Itachi?" "Not yet," Itachi said. "But eventually, he will." As Itachi was lying. He was not telling the truth, after all. He didn't even mention Katsumi's name. But he was playing a whole different game here. Zetsu was a bit surprised. But Tobi said it would work, didn't he? As Kisame chuckled, "I'm just glad Samihata here would tear me apart if someone was trying to mess with my brains. Like what is going on. Maybe your sword is messing with your brains. Fish face," said Zabuza with a growl. "Could have attacked before I got my blade sliced in half by that brat blade, you know?" "Nah, I wanted to see his shocked face." He realized I was the same guy as last time, to Kisame with a smirk. "You met him before," Haku said as she was beside Zabuza. As Kisame laughed. Yeah, but back then he actually used summons. Still, I'm here because of him. And I'm with the Akatsuki because of his words, Kisame said. He must have been shot then, said Haku. Meh. I thought he was dead. I pretty much leave him bleeding. Badly back there, said Kisame. What about Gato? Asked Zabuza. As Itachi was one to reply. Let him be. The Senju team will probably take care of him. Time skip. With the Senju team, Naruto's first reaction to know that he was alive was pain as he cursed. As the left side of his face felt like it was literally on fire. He could feel his body against some covers, so he wasn't in his armor. That was a bad thing by itself, but the worst thing was the memories of how he actually got there. It had been easy to sense Itachi when you want to be sensed, and feel him nearby, force him to leave his students with Zabuza. He had to finish his deal with Uchiha. Zabuza was a man who would at least toy with him for a while, and worse to worse, he was sure that he could bring Itachi towards where the demon of the mist was. But then Itachi had spoken to him, and he had waited for him to answer a question. That is when Naruto told him that it was the first time they have seen each other. But it hasn't been the first time. And everything became strange. They started to talk. Various brain was trying to come up with the reasons why he was left to live. The both of them did not fight. They just talked to each other. About random stuff. About Uncle's office. About Uncle's favorite food. There was something extremely wrong with his head. Something was wrong. But he didn't know what it was. And his chakra was sucked away. But it wasn't because of his abilities, it was by the blade. That damn blade. Not to mention Zabuza's skill. Everything about him was underestimated. He was not any A rank. As he was with the group, with Itachi as well. Seems like the man had improved over the past years. He was stronger, faster. But still, Naruto was able to slice right through his right blade. But then someone launched a cleaver towards him. He wasn't sure if it was a sword or what, but it looked like a sword. At the same time, it did not. The sword had bitten onto the right blade and destroyed it. After biting into him, breaking right through his armor, he was then hit. Unknown attacks, and then a barrage of ice javelins came down on him. But only one managed to hit him though. The one that hit him on the left side of the face. And that thing had siphoned away his chakra so quickly. This wasn't any A rank anymore. This was an S rank mission. And what if his genuine team? Was they okay? As he slowly picked himself up. As he started to walk, it seemed like Hinata their Byakugan activated. Sensei, her voice came, as Naruto heard the footsteps rushing towards him. As Naruto had to close back his eyes from the bright light. Sensei, your ribs aren't fully healed, said Hinata. I only saw you did it once before. So therefore, as Naruto waved his hand to make her calm down. How long have I been unconscious? 1 hour? 2? 2 days, Sensei, said Hinata. We were waiting for you to be better before setting out. I did what I could, Tsunami-san. Help with your wounds as well. Hinata. Bro woke up. As Kiba entered the room as Akmar was on his head that barked. As both of Kiba's arms are intact. Kiba, are you alright too? Kiba gulped. Well, your eyes are closed so I guess you can't see. But I have 2 broken arms. Hinata set them with ease for me. And I didn't even cry. No sir. You were unconscious, mutt boy, said Hinata. You didn't have to say that, said Kiba as he made his way towards the window. He used his mouth to close the window. There you go, Sensei. Thank you, Kiba, said Naruto as he opened his right eye slowly. Where's Katsumi, he asked. The bridge, Sensei. She's taking shifts with Hinata-san here. Sorry, Kiba. I should have protected you better, said Naruto. As Kiba scowled for a moment. Nah. It wasn't your fault, Sensei. It was mine, I parry. Where I should have dodged. Yes, he did something stupid, is Kiba. Sensei, what are we gonna do now, said Hinata. Well, I'll try to understand how to look around in one eye. Then I'll heal Kiba arms. We'll keep rotating shifts at the bridge. Then I'll get some training in you guys. In case Zabuza come back. But I have to ask, what happened after I was knocked out? Hinata took a breath before blurting out. 100 in from Kiri came to take Zabuza's body away. At least that is what I saw. Kiba was unconscious and Katsumi arrived when you fell down. And then, as Naruto blinked, he knew that Katsumi couldn't have seen the battle. She was talking with Itachi. Yes, she was talking with Itachi. Because the two of them decided in the middle of the battle it would be better if they talk. As Naruto felt a splitting headache came, he had to talk to Uncle. He had to ask her about her feelings concerning everything. What the hell was going on with him? As Naruto doubled over in pain, as he felt like his brain was being teared into half. Part of him was fighting to destroy any doubts that something was wrong. That part would tell him that everything was fine and he just needed to continue the mission. But there was another part that wanted answers. It wanted answers so badly it was more than likely gonna tear his brain apart. As it snapped, everything came back to him like a downpour. Flashback. Itachi, how dare the man show himself in front of him, in the Akatsuki clothing nonetheless? Have you an answer? Itachi asks. An answer to what? Said Naruto, as he stood there. You do not remember, Itachi said. It was then that Naruto saw it. Itachi's eyes were showing worry. Why were they showing worry? Why would a cold, heartless monster worry? Remember what? Itachi said. Naruto, how you slaughter your clan, and how you Naruto was confused. Itachi slaughtered his clan and condemned Sasuke to misery by having everyone taken away from him. And not to mention he forced him to marry Uncle. Naruto, what is Uncle's favorite food? Asked Itachi. As Naruto looked at him perplexed. Uncle's favorite food? It's Uncle and Midorashi's sauce dango, something she got named after her. Naruto, it's sweet bean soup, said Itachi, as Naruto felt something run through his mind. I don't always eat dangos, Naruto. I love sweet bean soup. It's my favorite food. Come on, let's meet up with Orochimaru Sensei. As Naruto grabbed his head, a memory from the past, but when did Uncle ever say that to him? Why didn't he remember? What is Uncle office like? Said Itachi. Why can't he remember? Hasn't he ever went to Uncle's office before? Why didn't he know what she did in the morning to the afternoons? Except for working at TNI. Zetsu-san, our informant, has gathered enough information to tell us that you have been placed under a genjutsu various times by the Kodemasukami. But you're not gonna trust me without proof. Proof of the Hokage toying with you. As the world turned black and red, as images float around them, the Hokage had ordered the Uchiha slaughter. But it should have been a work of cleaning up the problem and have Itachi join the Akatsuki, but instead someone else had killed the kids and the innocents and the elders. Jiraiya had become Itachi's informant since the Toad Hermit was a source of information on Sasuke's well-being. Jiraiya had also been the one to tell Itachi that Danzo had used his roots to kill the remaining Uchihas and harvest their eyes. Jiraiya asked him to stay on the Akatsuki side in exchange for Danzo's eventual death. Jiraiya came to speak to Itachi, but Itachi got the insight of who was behind the illusion and Jiraiya was not there. It was the Hokage pretending to be Jiraiya. It was then that Itachi started to have doubts about the entire events, as it was all something planned, not to mention Naruto being tricked and used by an eye that Danzo stolen. I tried to warn the boy, said the Kyuubi, but when he voiced his words to that woman, she referred to Danzo. From there, he used me as a target. That bastard, I shall gut him to pieces, said the Kyuubi. Naruto Sensei, said Hinata, as she did not know what to do, as he was on the ground, holding his head. Bro, said Kiba, is everything alright? He asked, as Naruto raised a hand. I think I'll be able to move by tonight. Can you bring me my arm gauntlet? He asked. Hinata went forth over towards his left spot that he could not see. He muttered thanks, as he touched a seal on it. 3 summoning papers appeared. Here, 1 for each. Pour chakra and a chameleon summon should arrive at your side. The more chakra, the bigger it will be. It should help in guarding the bridge construction. The 2 of them nodded, as Hinata took 2, as she would give it to Katsumi when she do the shift change. Now, sit down the both of you, said Naruto, and I'll start to explain the basics of medical ninjutsu and intimidation. And that he did, until night came. When he went downstairs, as he saw Katsumi and he met the Brick Wheeler family, Katsumi was glancing at him every now and then, with a worried look on her face. Sensei, said Katsumi. I'm sorry. For what, Katsumi-chan? Said Naruto. For your wounds. For the Raijin destruction. For being so scared in the end. The wounds would heal. The Raijin handle is still with me. And for the scared part. His voice came with a bit of amusement. Everyone is scared in life. It happens, he said. The important thing is to face one's fears and strive forward. If you're still scared, then maybe I should have Uncle train you in Snake Pit for a while. Both Sasuke and Neji can guarantee it work. That, and the fact that they never need more than one single exercise in there. Never again. Yes, Sensei, she said. It's useless, said Inari, as he was Tasuna's grandson. You're all going to die anyway. You damn runt. What was that? Said Kiba. Kiba, Hinata said. He's just a kid. Stop it. As she was right beside him, she had to feed him. But I was gonna kill you all, said Inari. Kid, do you know who I am? Inari turned towards Naruto. I am Naruto Senju, the second coming of the Nidaime, said Naruto. And whoever this Gato is, I can kill him, smash him, destroy him, annihilate him, tear his guts out of his body, feast upon his blood, crushed his skull, turned his brain into paste, and he ran off. As he was looking a bit queasy, as Kiba was looking towards Naruto's mouth, hung wide open, Katsumi and Hinata was white. What? Said Naruto. It's the truth. I was just filling him in on what I can do. As he was the only one that was left was hungry. After dinner, Naruto was on the porch with his shades on, his one visible eye looking around. Kakashi could do the same, so why couldn't he as well? He had a lot to do when he get back home. Could he even call it home? He did so much for Konoha, suffer so much. He's been attacked. Bled for Konoha, however. Uncle, was she a pawn? Was she a tool? Was she an associate with Danzo's schemes? As he knew what Danzo's plan was. Itachi was working with the Hokage, with the Akatsuki, to only kill Danzo. And Danzo had been using him, maneuvering him, twisting his mind, to kill the Hokage in a coup during the Chunin exams. But it will not go as he thought. Being used. As Naruto had to keep his temper in check, as he felt someone come beside him. The person sit down as Katsumi had her knees up to her chest. Sensei, can you tell me something more about Itachi? Why? Naruto asked. There was no emotion in his voice as he spoke. Because I'm just curious, that's all. He's the one that Sasuke-kun hates, right? You could say that, but you'll be wrong. You see, he doesn't hate Itachi. He just doesn't understand him, said Naruto. One day, he went from being his brother to being the cause of his entire clan's slaughter. He murdered so much people, and then he just left. You were in his team, right, Sensei? As Naruto chuckled a bit, I was his best friend, Katsumi. We fought back to back in most of our missions. We read each other's actions, without having to say words. But that still did not stop him from trying to kill me at the Valley of the End, said Naruto. But it doesn't matter anymore. Why not? He betrayed you, said Katsumi. Yeah, but he wasn't the only one. But he was the only one that did not offer any explanation. But it doesn't matter, I tell you, said Naruto. Sensei. Yes? Can I call you brother? No, said Naruto. As she looked down. You can call me big brother, said Naruto. As her face lit up like fire. So, what are we gonna do tomorrow, big brother, she said. I will start guarding a bridge, and you can learn how to start walking on water. But why? I mean, why can't I learn medical ninjutsu or intimidation techniques? Katsumi, medical ninjutsu require vast amount of shock control that you, I'm afraid, will never possess. She lowered her head towards the ground. And for your case in intimidation, you realize for your case as a kunoichi, it should be seduction, right? She looked up. What? As her face turned red. And I'm not comfortable in teaching my little sister about that, said Naruto. Her eyes softened as she hugged him. Now, why is it that you girls always cry, said Naruto as he patted her head. It's the first time you call me sister, she said. Unknown to them, Hinata was watching with her Byakugan. So, you want to play the sister card, huh? It doesn't matter, I'll spar you out of the equation. The next morning, Naruto was walking towards the bridge. His Genin team on tow. They were silent. Kiba hands were still in a cast, but only as a precaution. Naruto had set the bones and healed them, but they still need to be kept still. The Genins would learn how to water walk, while Naruto would keep an eye out on the bridge. Even in his state, he could defend himself, and his presence would keep away thugs and bandits. As they began their training, Hinata got it down in 3 tries, as she was already used to her chakra control, so it was easy to focus towards her legs. Even a drench, Katsumi and Inuzaka to continue. As Hinata reached towards him. Sensei, I got it down, she said. Good, said Naruto. As Naruto unsealed a book from the armor, as it was a brown book as Hinata took it and tried to read the title. She would be his little sister. To hell with Katsumi and blood relations. Stabs and Burns, Volume 1, she said perplexed. Memorize it, said Naruto, is the first thing a mid ninja learn. How to treat burns and wounds. She sat down next to her sensei as she opened the book. As she saw his name, this was sensei's book. As he had this book everywhere with him. He had breathed next to this book. Not many people know this, but her fainting nature back then, when she used to be all shy, was because of her mind always telling her perverted things. Now she kept it hidden, but she was still kind of a pervert, as she was right beside her sensei. If she shivered, probably he would hold her. Her face turned bright red. Sensei? Yes, Hinata-chan. Can I ask you, what happened in the battle, she said. As Naruto's face turned a bit grim. Well, I was trapped in that water prison, so to free myself, I had to freeze then break through it. As Naruto started to explain the details of him who wounded Zabuza. And then, in the end, I thought I heard someone say 2-0, but I was in too much pain to do anything about it, because it was this damn biting sword. But also, I could not activate the previous chakra, he said. Sensei, always being a Jinjuki like, she asked, as she was getting closer and closer to him. Well, for one thing, I never alone in my thoughts. When the Kyuubi is awake, obviously. So, the Kyuubi is hearing us even now? Yes, but let's just say that she enjoyed to sleep a lot. She, said Hinata. There was a female fox nurse in his head? Yes, she, said Naruto. And she's a really heavy sleeper, he said. Oh, said Hinata. As she went back into the book, a couple days later, Gato had came with his thugs, as Naruto was now watching. Katsumi beat down a couple of Gato thugs. He had woken up the Kiba, beating down 2 thugs who tried to take Tsunami and her son. Pulled for Kiba to rush their back and tear him apart with his Getsuga, causing a faint in Tsunami and a puking in Eri. But Naruto had perfect control of the situation after all. He already placed him in a Genjutsu. After all, that was the main reason why Kiba got so close unnoticed. Kiba, what are they doing? Said Naruto. They're kind of setting a score. As Naruto saw, there was Katsumi over to the right and Hinata over to the left as they were both taking on a group of thugs. Well, it's a takedown. Takedown? You get 1 point for a lethal takedown, 2 for a non-lethal, and the one that killed Gato get 50 points. While his 2 bodyguards are worth 25 each, Kiba said, as Naruto sat down and watched as the battle came to an unpredictable end, with 2 girls battling for their secret crush or brother respect. They took down the thugs with their heart contents. And why are you not out there? Said Naruto. Well, I'm not willing to get a kiss from you, said Kiba. Wait, what? Said Naruto. I'm not kissing him, heck. I didn't even know that this was going on, said Naruto. Gato was trapped right in the middle, as he was hit by kunais to the right side, with a wind-style jutsu, and Jayugen strikes to the left side, and a palm strike to his head, viciously ripping the man apart, as blood covered the 2 Valkyries, because they were more than Kunoichi now. It was a slaughter over the bridge. Kiba, who got the kill the both of them asked. Kiba gulped as he turned towards Naruto. It's not important. Good job everyone, he said. We can pack up and leave later upon stumbling on the corpses. Iniri actually thought that Naruto did all those things to Gato like he said he would do. And the bridge was called the Great Senju Bridge, while Kiba wanted to be called the Bloody Cat Fight. Time skip. A week later, Uncle Senju was pacing nervously around the kitchen table. There had been no chameleon reports of sorts. Was he hurt? Was he harmed? Was he captured? It was a simple C rank, right? Easy to do, right? It seemed strange, but she didn't really focus on the updates first. As usual, she just shrugged him off, but no. She didn't get any and she was worried. The last C rank he did didn't turn out so good. The first C rank, all of them went on. She shook her head. No. The world couldn't have it out for him. Things couldn't be against him so much, could they? He's gonna be fine, yeah, I'm sure he's gonna be fine. As she made her way towards a secret compartment where the safe was. But he was empty. Darn it. I thought I bought some yesterday. As she resumed her pacing, unknown to her, a camouflage chameleon moved to the side to chug down one of the many bottles that he was tasked to hit. I am not going to become like Kakashi. Go all day to Momura Stone. Look at the name, she said. No, I will not. And just then, the door opened as Naruto Senju entered. As Uncle saw him in a bad state, there was dry blood on his armor, not to mention his eye. One of his eyes were gouged out, the left one. She froze. He could heal himself, there was no mistake in that. So, for him to come back in this state, hey, he said quietly. Her eyes then became ablaze with fury. Just where the hell have you been, you goddamn idiot, she said. And she quickly moved and pulled him into a deep kiss, before she stared at him harshly after backing away. Well, C rank, huh? What happened? I wouldn't know, she said. You... Before Naruto could say anything, Karen rushed inside, as she sensed her father coming and she hugged him. Dad, she said, as Naruto's face cracked like a smile, as he hugged her back. Karen-chan, weren't you supposed to be having training? As Karen stood behind Naruto. I can't run off, she said. You shouldn't have done that. And now, for your punishment, off to the main house with your Aunt Shizune. But Dad is wounded, shouldn't we get Aunt Shizune here? The wound has already been closed and healed. It's clean and safe, said Naruto. The armor might need to be cleaned, but we rush to come back as quick as possible. See? So you go off to Aunt Shizune, so I can take your father for a bit for not warning me. As Uncle carried Naruto upstairs, just barely cut off his armor before she kissed him. But then he pushed her to the side. Playing hard to get, she said, as she stepped forward. I need a shower, he said. I'm tired. Want me to wash your back? No. It will be quick, said Naruto, as he made his way towards the bathroom as she heard the water. As Uncle sat there, something was wrong. Something was wrong. He was in the mood, well that was predictable after a tough mission. Probably they beat out more than he could chew. And probably, as she wondered if his team was okay. Stupid Uncle. Maybe he lost a genuine of his, and here she was not even asking him about it. After a couple of minutes he came back out, as he sat to the other side of the bed and didn't say anything. He didn't lie down, completely ignoring her, as he seemed to have fallen asleep. Honey, she said, is everything okay? He did not move. Maybe he was angry about losing an eye or something. Can you please tell me what's wrong, Koi? She asked, as her name for him, Koi. like a goldfish. Are you sick? Did something happen in the mission? She actually came over. Please, answer me, she said. He had never chose to ignore her like this before. Answer me, damn it, she said. Why are you ignoring me? What happened? Please, did Katsumi or Nizaka, did something happen? She asked. Did something happen with the Akatsuki? She asked. As she saw he wasn't asleep, his face was calm though. As she tried not to lash out and curse at him for not answering her. Why are you doing this? What's going on? She asked. She just needed to find out why he was angry and what was wrong, or probably realize everything. But she could live with that because she could make Danzo, make him forget everything. She just need to tell that bastard that she hated that everything was going to hell, and he would come and make everything better. She had already done it before. Yes, she did it before, so it was not a problem. Until he became Hokage, he must not find out. By then, he would know. And she would be cast aside, and she was fine with that really. She had already had so much. It hurts, doesn't it, said Naruto. To be ignored for a long time, doesn't it? To make it even worse, when the attention that you gain is scorn and hate, so you latch on to anything at all that can give you safety. I admit, I did the same with you, he said, as he chuckled. A rather grim chuckle. Maybe it was because of that, after I lost everything, that I didn't realize that you actually didn't love me, said Naruto. What are you talking about? If this is some kind of joke. As Naruto turned his head towards her. You never loved me, he said. You just wanted some place to call home. Someone to call love, but not because you loved me. Because you knew that it was normality for others, and you wanted it for yourself. Tell me, how did you feel? Toying with me for all these years. Acting like you loved me, when actually you did not. What were you gonna do? Plunge a kuna in my ribs if I went out of the way. Kill me if I ever went against Danzo. Was it fun to you, again, to toy with my mind? Force note my kindness, so you can have it. You lied, messed with my mind to make me believe that you were the perfect wife. Tears were streaming down her face. It hurt, but she had to bear it. She had to bear it all. Get out, he said. Get out and never come back. I'm sorry. As she was ordering away out of the door, she was sorry because she was selfish. And she was running toward Danzo to have him reapply the genjutsu on Naruto. Because she loved him even if he would never actually love her back. At the very least, she could keep her heaven a bit longer. She could manage a decade, 20 years, maybe 30, maybe even 40. She wouldn't lose him like that. No, she would not. Meanwhile, there was a reason why Kiba loved to hang out outside with his friends. Because at home he was quiet. Because there was a reason for it. As he opened the gates of his compound, there was no reason to hide, as they knew that he was already there. As he reached the main house, as Hana appeared from his side, coming from the kennels. So, her back, she spat out, as she eyed him accusingly. It was more than hate she had in her eyes, it was disgust, possibly, even envy. He was alive, while someone else was not. His father wasn't alive, but he was instead. Yes, Kiba said as she pushed him aside as he fell towards the ground. For all of his training, Kiba was a genin and she was a chunin. And also he didn't want to fight back as well. If he would have fought back, he was sure that she would have put him back in his place. Last time he slept in the freezing cold cage of the dogs for a night. And he didn't want to repeat that ever again. He was fine with being ignored. He had Akamaru with him. Akamaru whined, saddened. As Kiba got back up and dusted himself off as he made his way up to his room, the smell of alcohol hit his nose full force. And he knew he shouldn't be there. Yeah, things were not good at home with him. If anyone would have noticed, especially on the graduation day that his parents, no one is there for him, they would have focused on that and realized that certain things was off with Kiba. Despite his boisterous attitude, his home life was hell. But guys, the BN tips are right here. If you want the next person to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in social media platform. And also go ahead and check out the brand new episode over on Anime King of What If Naruto Was Told About the Uzumaki clan from the beginning, and enjoy that, guys. And also, I post a brand new episode over on Anime King 3 of What If Naruto Was Neglected with Jashin sealed inside of him. So go ahead and check out that and enjoy, guys. So yeah, without further ado, I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.